Welcome one and all, whoever may be watching this. This will be part 11. Tides of Numenéra. Okay, we've got to go speak to the count's dude up here. Rest. Someone else will get murdered. Behind a lectern, a four-eyed, hairless mutant processes paper with balletic grace. He's endlessly snapping the elegant fingers of his left hand, and each time the air twists and shimmers, either disgorging a document to be processed or accepting one that he completed with his ink-stained right hand. Each of his eyes regard a distinct object, portals that are opening, preambles and recitals that must be reviewed. His own addenda must be flawless. One eye twitches in your direction. Exaggerated scorn twists his mouth, and though his eye remains fixed on your face, he gives no verbal acknowledgement. The closest he comes is a faint sigh. At last, after shunting a half-dozen more documents to some distant cubby, he condescends to speak. You must wait, of course, until council matters conclude. His quarter gaze leaves you. His face returns to its former equanimity, and he continues his work, which shows no evidence of slacking, let alone concluding. I assure you that my matters are important enough to be worth a moment of your time. I think we need to go all out on this. Nice. The clerk conveys his personal regard for the importance of your matters with a long, loud sigh. But he focuses one of his eyes on you and replies, very well, very well. Let us weigh the worth of your needs, shall we? What is it you want? I'd like to talk about some paperwork. A faint sigh is the only acknowledgement you receive. In order to put a stop to a wrongful punishment, I need the stay of execution issued for Cole Carden. Oh, I've only got 2. Can my dude help me out? Yes, he can. The clerk hesitates for a moment, then shrugs. It happens that the letter was consigned to destruction by year's end anyway, given the confirmation of Carden's demise. With a snap of his fingers, a letter appears and he looks over it. Yes, here we are. Quite the criminal he was, and no slouch in treason. But who am I to ask the clemency of our peerless council? He hands it to you with a slight sniff. Let me have a look at it for errors, Tiberius snaps with an angry look at the clerk. Of course I shouldn't have to, but we wouldn't be here today if a mistake hadn't been made by someone in a position of authority. Here, we're doing this here. Well, he murmurs, slapping the document on your back. I could commit fraud in a plush armchair behind a locked door. He leans around your shoulder, flashing a grin. But where's the fun in that? You feel him writing something on the document, presumably Reese's name, before slipping it into your pouch and giving a polite little cough to catch the council clerk's attention. Everything appears to be in order, he says, mouth set in a stern line. I meant no offense, of course.
I'll remember that.
The clerk turns a single angry eye to Beer's way. Of course I understand, he says, his voice shaking. The eye moves to you. Do we have any other matters to discuss? I'm quite busy today. Yeah, okay, so there's nothing... No interesting questions to ask. Let's just get going. Let's get something done.
Let's go.
11 videos deep, and what really have I done?
On it.
Who do I need to talk to? Yeen the Overseer? The official is staring at the dark sky as you approach. Tabat, take us all, he mutters. Eventually he lowers his eyes to you and gives you an annoyed look. What is it now? I think I've heard of weapons that can do this. I wish I were home with my wife. Oh, right, yes, the sky. Whoopsies, it's my fault. This man has a full pardon. Release him immediately. He scowls at you. Weren't you here before and without a badge? Is this some kind of... He cuts off and looks at the black sky again. Oh, what does it matter? If you take him, I can go home to my wife. She must be in such a state over this darkness. One moment. He turns and calls to the levies. Unmake the death of the condemned and set him free. He is pardoned. He turns back to you. There, now I'm going home. Not soon enough. I'm terrified. My wife will know what to do.
Making a note.
Noblesse. Just wants to be home with his family. As the levies march off and the crowd disperses, Reese steadies himself, not quite recovered from his ordeal. Finally he raises his head and focuses on you. If you're the one who got me out of that nightmare, thank you, but where's the... His eyes settle on Tabia. There you are, you slippery man. Now, where's the money? If I went through that hell for nothing, I'll... The idiot has left me out to dry, I know it. He chokes with emotion. 3 days, Tabia. I spilled my guts up there for 3 whole days. I feel like my brain has been scooped out with a spoon. He steps back, spreading his hands. Yes, about the money. You see, Reese, I was hoping to get a reward for turning in the fellow who sold us that brandy without telling us about its secrets, but... But, Reese snarls. There's always a but when it comes to money, isn't there? I should have known. You only said you'd pay me so I wouldn't squeal on you, and you saved my skin to save your own. He smacks his fists together. Now I'm gonna have to fight through your friend to get to you, or are you gonna step out from behind her and take it like a man? Calm down, both of you. Reese, tell it from the beginning. Reese spits, then wipes his lips. There isn't much to tell. Captain Silvertongue over there taught me into a dirty job, then disappeared like an abacus and left me holding the bag when it all went sour. Oh, Reese, says Tabia, can you blame me for running when I had a chance? You would have done the same, and besides, if I hadn't, we would have both been sentenced to die with no one to free us. Lucky that, if my tattooed friend hadn't come along, we'd both be executed in any case. He stabs a finger at Tabia's face. You only wanted to free me because you knew you'd be next on the block once the Devourer ate me. How would the Devourer of Wrongs know that Tabia was involved? The Dendra here, Reese says, consume our memories with our flesh. They know everything by the time they've finished eating us, and Tabia knew I'd have plenty of memories of him. Didn't you, you coward? The Devourer would have found you guilty, Tabia. Is this true? As far as it goes, he would have learned about me if he had eaten Reese, and I did manage to escape the levies when they showed up looking for us, but I didn't abandon you, lad. He put his hand to his heart. Reese, I escaped the levies and saved you from the Devourer of Wrongs because I love you and I did not want to see you die. You have to believe me. Escaping the levies was just good luck, that much is true. Do I? Reese says, cracking his knuckles. I'm with Reese on this, Tabia. You should make amends to him. He's the one who has suffered here. That's right, Reese snarls. And you can start by giving me a share of the spoils. Reese, you don't know what you're talking about. I never got paid, I promise you. This isn't over, you self-serving idiot. He jabs a finger in Tabia's face. Hide behind your friends if you like, but she won't keep you safe forever. Well, happy families and reunions and all that fun stuff. Oh nice, my dude's leveled up. How do I do that again? Okay, so I'm not sure why these ones... Oh, okay, those are my only choice. Well, let's go improve skill. The finally owned ability to break things. Nice. How many skills does he have, or is it just one? Let's go endurance. I was sort of tossing up between endurance and healing.
Yes.
I actually wanted to talk to you.
Forward.
How do I talk to him?
Onward.
Thanks for helping me free Riss, lass. Not that the little ingrate appreciated it.
So, was it like Reese said? You'd only freed him so you wouldn't be implicated? I'd be a liar if I said that wasn't part of it, he says, looking at his boots. But I really do care for the boy, and wouldn't wish him harm for the world. And I could have run, he chews his lips. I could have. Probably not far, though. Do you think he'll make good on his threats? Should we be watching our backs? No, I wouldn't worry about it, he says, chuckling. Reese doesn't have as many friends as he think he does. I was practically the only one. Unless he makes friends of my enemies. Best not think about it. It won't happen. Tell me about yourself. Sure. So you're a captain? Retired, he said, raising his hands in surrender. I've been on my own, more or less, for a handful of decades now. He winks. Still having a captaincy under your belt opens doors, lifts dresses, and drops trousers, so I tend to wave it around whenever I can. What's your story? Oh, the usual. Farm boy joins one war or another. He doesn't die, but gets a sound spanking by the world until he learns to spank it back. Okay, so I... How am I doing on the shin front? Okay, I'm assuming if I want to rest, I'll have to pay for it again. Oh, also, we need to talk to, Beliezer. So many things to do.
Thank you. Making a note.
Yep, messenger, someone else. Yep. Alright, let's go do something about that. So let's just come up here and have a look at this situation. This violent skin resistant paces back and forth before the cavern's opening. It wears fine clothes that serve to accentuate the tall, thin crest on its head. A symbol has been painted on the crest, mirroring the insignia marked on its chest. Its clothes are finely tailored and well made. The name of the creature's race crawls to your mind. It's a Vigellan. This one has temporarily chosen to be female. Her bulbous eyes flash quickly around her surroundings before focusing directly on you. The council didn't send you, that much is plain. Her voice is high and fluctuating. You're aware that this cave isn't safe, I hope. What exactly do you want? This cave isn't safe? Not unless you trust the discretion of the Stickcher. Those insectoid monsters that are prowling about. Most people are afraid of them. I was wondering what you're doing here. I am conducting a diplomatic negotiation on behalf of the city. Unfortunately, I'm not dealing with a reasonable species, her crest flutters irritably. I have made no progress at all, days wasted in this miserable tunnel, and I have nothing to show to my superiors. Maybe I can help you? She looks you up and down, considering. Doubtful, but you might have other skills I can use. The circumstances call for a new tactic, and these levies cannot do what needs to be done, nor can I. The Vigellan nods. If you truly think you can help, let's put you to the test. She waves off the levies who flank her. Her gestures are short and choppy, sharp and irritated. It's these damnable stickcha, she says. I speak to them, I offer, cajole, negotiate, and threaten. Yet they persist in their digging, and every day another house on the cliffs above slips into the sea. If the digging does not cease, the city itself may crumble. So here is my request. Find a way into their lair, remove their precious eggs, and return them to me. These hostages shall ensure the future of the city above, and also turn a tidy profit if I could get them all. If you can negotiating a lasting settlement that does not require such drastic measures, you may also pursue that method. But I have been trying for days with no success.
Making a note.
Good. We need to stop the Stritcher before they bring down the entire substructure of the city. She pauses and lowers her voice. If you manage to infiltrate their lair, be sure to acquire all their eggs. I suspect they will have multiple clusters, and we need them all if we want to negotiate from a position of strength. She hands you a synth ball with a blinking device inside. Once you're in the lair, activate this, and it should show you all the tunnels, the egg clusters, and the Stitcher themselves. Better to know what you face before you charge ahead. Okay, I don't necessarily want to jump straight into combat.
Yes, now.
This massive creature looms over you. A scent like lightning and an underground cavern washes over you, and it reminds you of nothing so much as curiosity. It chitters and rumbles, waving a large claw through an expressive dance. Something about these smells, sounds, and gestures seem familiar, a niggling itch in the back of your mind. At least you remember the taxonomy now. This is a Stichus, a huge burrowing insectoid. It exudes a sense of sentience as it watches you, but you sense nothing in its mind, as though it were a common animal. It points to itself and says, Chiquette. It follows with another stream of high-pitched noise. What can you tell me about this place? It looks at you intently, and then its spatulate fingers begin a slow and careful dance. The sound it makes are slow chitters that rise and fall in pitch, accompanied by the smell of ozone. Good rock, full of electricity. I have come to ask you to stop digging underneath the city. Chiquette waves its arms around, and the air fills with the scent of a slow-growing fungus. You think it says, why? More incomprehensible chittering follows, and then it speaks slowly and carefully. Not learn our speech? Not work us? No, not now. We dig. You dig under the city, right? Can you take me someplace? Over the scent of warm gravel, the Stitchus clicks and whistles. You understand the words yes and shins. I have heard that the Changing God had a sanctuary underneath the city. Can you take me there?
Making a note.
The creature listens carefully to you and then slowly rotates its whole body, its hands in front of it. Chiquette's odour is that of internal organs, slowly liquefied, a bright and pungent odour. No, it croaks. Not humans. You almost have a sense of the language, the structure, the feel, the sound and scent. The itch in your mind intensifies. You can feel the memory of the Stitchus language waiting to reveal itself. Try to remember. Oh, the most I can do is 60. Shivers. Oh, requires trained title affinity skill. Okay. So you focus deep within your mind, blocking out external distractions, and will the memory to rise. There must be a reason this tongue sounds familiar to you. You must. But try as you might, you can only conjure the image of a small box flickering impatiently in front of you. No other thoughts attach themselves. At last you relinquish the attempt. It's fruitless. That's really annoying because it definitely seemed clear that if I could speak the language to him, it would show me respect. And I clearly don't have this tidal surge that is required.
Ready.
Fair enough.
So I think we can only talk to the other dude. So my thing is, I don't want to, you know, run in and steal the eggs and do the whole bribery situation, but I'm not quite sure what other options, unless I somehow get the tidal surge skill. I just don't know where else we can go and what else we can do.
I'm ready.
You've got it.
Of course.
You find a jumbled pile of large rocks at the end of this roughly hewn tunnel. The motionless limbs of a Stitchus protrude from the mound, the rents in its carapace painted with dried ichor. Alright, I'm not particularly mighty, but like... So we can get up to 90, 90, 70. Who has the most might? You do. The first rock is the hardest to shift. Once you warm to the task, you are nearly flinging them aside until you have fully exposed the corpse beneath. Clearly the creature was digging this tunnel when the roof collapsed and killed it. Its smaller claw is mangled and smashed, but apart from the crushed thorax and a few gashes on the carapace, the body itself is surprisingly intact. Okay, I don't quite know how that helps us.
On it.